The desert sun beat down on a small Apache camp, where a heavy silence had settled over everything. The dry, cracked earth seemed to mirror the sorrow that had taken root deep in the hearts of the people. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, somber shadows, the tribe gathered near the embers of a dying fire. The air was thick with unspoken grief and tension. Two women stood apart from the others, their figures silhouetted against the fading light. The first was Tana, a woman whose strength was etched into the lines of her face, yet marked by a profound grief. Gray streaks like threads of sorrow ran through her long black hair, which she wore in a simple braid down her back. She was the widow of a brave warrior, a man who had fallen while defending their tribe. Though her eyes held a universe of pain, her dignity remained unbroken, a testament to her resilience. Beside her stood Ahulie, her daughter-in-law. She was young, barely a woman, yet her face was already burdened with the deep sadness of loss. Her husband, Tana's son, had been taken from her in a tragic hunting accident, shattering her world into a million pieces. Now these two women, bound by a shared tragedy, stood together, unknowingly on the precipice of a life-altering change. Chief Koya stepped forward, his tall, imposing frame casting a long shadow over the gathered tribe. His expression was cold, hard, leaving no room for compassion or mercy. His voice, when he spoke, was as firm and unyielding as the desert rock. "You have lost your husbands," he stated, his words cutting through the evening quiet. "According to our ancient customs, widows cannot remain among us. Your grief brings misfortune upon the tribe. You must leave." The words struck Tana with the force of a physical blow. She had dedicated her entire life to this tribe. She had raised children here, celebrated life, and mourned her husband here, and now she was being cast out, treated like a curse. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. "We will leave," Tana said, her voice surprisingly calm and even. "But we will not leave in shame. We will not carry the disgrace you are trying to place upon us." Ahulie, younger and fueled by the raw fire of her fresh grief, stepped forward. Anger finally broke through the dam of her sorrow. "We have lost everything we ever had," she cried out, her voice trembling with emotion. "And now you throw us away as if we are nothing, as if our losses mean nothing." But the chief simply turned his back on them, a gesture of finality more powerful than any words. "It is done," he declared over his shoulder. "Gather your things and go." The decision was absolute. The tribe watched in silence, their faces a mixture of pity, fear, and reluctant agreement. As the camp fell into an eerie quiet, Tana pulled Ahulie close, holding her tightly. "We will survive this," she whispered, her voice a promise in the growing dark. "We have always survived." With heavy hearts, they began to gather the few possessions they had left. A deerskin blanket, a water pouch, some dried meat, the meager remnants of lives once full. The vast, unforgiving desert stretched out before them, waiting. It was a daunting expanse of cold sand and endless night. Just as they were about to step out of the firelight and into the unknown, the sound of hoofbeats broke the silence. A figure emerged from the shadows, a rugged cowboy whose worn leather clothes were caked with the dust of long travel. He dismounted, and his eyes, when they met theirs, held a quiet, knowing understanding. "I heard what happened," he said, his voice low and steady. "I was camped nearby. I know what it's like to lose everything." Tana watched him carefully, her instincts on high alert. Strangers in the desert were rarely a good sign. "Who are you?" she asked, her tone guarded. "My name's Jake," he replied, his gaze unwavering. "I'm not here to judge you or your ways. I'm here to offer you a chance." "A chance for what?" Ahulie asked, her voice sharp with suspicion. Trust was a luxury she could no longer afford. "A new beginning," Jake said simply. "A place where your past won't define you, where your grief isn't seen as a curse." Tana hesitated, weighing his words. His offer seemed too good to be true, yet what other options did they have? The desert offered only a slow, certain death. She looked into his eyes, searching for deceit, but found only sincerity. "Where would we go?" she asked softly. Jake met her gaze directly. "Come with me, I know a place. It's a long walk, but you can start over there." With nothing left to lose and a world of uncertainty ahead, Tana made her decision. She gave a single, firm nod. "We'll come." As night fully descended, The three of them walked into the vastness of the desert. The oppressive heat of the day was replaced by a biting cold that seeped into their bones. The darkness was absolute, stretching endlessly in every direction, punctuated only by the distant, glittering stars. In the far distance, a single small light flickered, a tiny beacon of hope in the immense blackness. Ahulie, walking close to Jake, finally broke the silence. "Where are you taking us?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper against the wind. "To a settlement," Jake explained, his voice a comforting presence in the dark. "It's far from tribal laws and the judgment of others. The people there, they live free. You'll be safe." Tana, ever practical, had another question. "And what do you want in return for this kindness?" Jake was quiet for a moment before he answered. "Nothing," he replied. "I've been where you are. Someone helped me once. Now I'm just giving you the same chance I was given, the chance to rebuild." The journey was long and arduous. They walked for what felt like an eternity, the landscape unchanging and hostile. But Jake's quiet confidence and the memory of the chief's cold dismissal kept them moving forward, one foot in front of the other. Finally, they crested a low ridge and the settlement came into full view. It wasn't large, just a collection of sturdy, makeshift buildings, but warm light spilled from the windows of every home, casting a welcoming glow. As they walked down the main path, people emerged from their homes, not with suspicion, but with nods of quiet welcome. Tana realized these people were outcasts too, souls from all walks of life who had found refuge here and built new lives from the ashes of their old ones. Jake led them to a small but solid-looking adobe house at the edge of the settlement. A fire was already burning warmly in the hearth inside. "This is for you," he said, gesturing to the open door. "This is your home now. You're safe." Tana and Ahulie stepped inside, their hearts a whirlwind of disbelief, relief, and overwhelming gratitude. The warmth of the fire enveloped them, chasing away the desert chill. They had been cast out, left with nothing, and had faced certain death. But now, standing in this small, safe home, for the first time in a long time, they felt something they thought they had lost forever: hope. A new chapter, a new life, was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of resilience and new beginnings. We'll see you in the next one.